Hey booktube, this is Kelly. Thank you so much for watching my channel, Books I'm Not Reading. I am so glad that you are here, and there are so many new folks here, so welcome. One of the things I do on my channel is the last Friday, in this case Sunday, of each month I say hello to new subscribers to my channel who have the channels that they subscribe to listed publicly, and not everyone does that. I understand why, but I do want to thank these people. There will probably be more in August that I didn't catch in this list, and so those will be on my, I will shout out those folks on the last Friday in September, my last Friday Reads video for that month. And anytime somebody has a channel, I link to that channel as well. But I think all of these people do not currently have active channels. Looks like a couple of them maybe had a channel in the past. And I don't see any videos in their channels. So I want to welcome WL3048, Nigel, MLL, who has already left comments. Thank you so much. It's been just a delight to hear from you. Steve, Shashank, Alexa, Michael, Deanna, Vikexes, I'm not sure. Sorry about that one. Kristen, Ann, Caroline, and Heather. So welcome. Thank you so much. So, things are going to be a little bit different on my channel for September, because I am one of the hosts for ShakeTimber, which is a month-long celebration of Shakespeare. And I'm so excited. This is my first time hosting a booktube event. And there's just a lot of really exciting things happening on my channel right now. There is bonus footage on my Ko-fi page that is available to anyone. You do not have to leave a tip. It's there for everyone to enjoy. But they're much shorter videos, and sometimes they'll be more channel related than book related, or more personal. I'm not sure exactly, but before August is over, there will be a new video up that's going to be a sneak peek of one of my ShakeTimber videos. Speaking of ShakeTimber, last Friday I shared with you all this wonderful little present that came to me, for ShakeTimber. It was so sweet, and I got more ShakeTimber mail this week. Of course, it was also addressed to my husband, Jason, who's also a host of ShakeTimber. Look at this homemade card. Is that not the sweetest thing? And it even says Happy ShakeTimber inside. But I mean, just the fact that somebody took the time to make this card and send it to me. And then they also sent, bookmarks, which is actually really helpful right now, because Jason and I are both reading the same plays, and so there's different editions of all the plays we're going to be reading next month, scattered around the house. But check these out. Okay, look at that. Again, homemade. So cool. It's part of the cast list, is on top for one of the Henry IV plays. That's super cool. There's this sweet one. But I was looking at this, and this graph, which I'm not quite sure the beginning of it, but the stuff on the top is like supernatural, tradition, ambition, anger, anxiety, let's see, greed, guilt, leer, life, death, love, lust. Yeah, it's just a whole bunch of different things. But I mean, everything can be found in Shakespeare. But so I thought that was cool. And then these two, look at that, so cool. I was I was shrieking. we were both shrieking. So super fun. And then that same person sent me this absolutely beautiful book. If you're new to my channel, Paris is just a love of mine. It's kind of a trigger in some ways. And so they sent me this book by Elkin, number 9192, Notes on a Parisian Commute. And these are Elkin's notes that she writes on her iPhone while taking her commute. And I don't know if it's over a year or how long it lasts. I have never seen a book this format. Have you guys seen this before? I do live in a bit of not a complete book desert, but I've definitely never seen anything like this. It's published by Les Fugitives, a publisher of contemporary French writing and translation. So yeah, I was really excited. Really excited about that. Okay, so what have I been reading? As many of you know, I have been reading A Fine Balance by Rohinton Mistry. I read this as a buddy read with Joe Smith, and wow. So the fine balance part of the title comes from a line from one of the minor characters. There's 4 major characters and then kind of a second tier group of people. But he talks about the fine balance between hope and despair. And man, Joe and I, we both give it 5 stars because it's amazing. It's an amazing book. It is so devastating. It is so heartbreaking. And I think there were some things that the author was trying to do to give us a little bit of hope at the end there. But it is a very fine balance that this book walks. I would say also, if I don't want to spoil anything, never mind. I mean, this book addresses some really heavy issues. It takes place at, well, the novel starts in 1975, but it goes back in the characters' lives. And then we come back to 1975, and then there's this period where the main 4 characters are together, and then they all separate, and it comes back in 1984. So anyway, like I said, Joe and I were I think we were both a little surprised at how devastating the ending was. But it is so well written, and I know I've said this before, but if you like Dickens, I think you will really like, this is Dickens set in India. I thought there were so many things that were similar. So anyway, I would love to know what you think of this book if you've read it. And I'm sad that Rohinton Mistry hasn't written. There's a few, I think a couple more of his novels out there, but he hasn't written anything for a very long time, which is a bummer. But this is a great book. I definitely recommend it, in spite of an ending with a lot of heavy stuff in it. A lot of heavy stuff. So yeah. So I finished this last week, beginning of last week, somewhere in there. And then since then, of course, I've been reading our first play for ShakeTimber, Romeo and Juliet. This is the Folger edition. This is the library copy. We have actually 2 other copies of Romeo and Juliet. Actually 3 if you count our collected works edition. But Jason wanted to read the edition that he really likes. The other edition that's just as individual, single, and I will show that when I make my Romeo and Juliet video. But yeah, I've read it before. There's no notes. There's nothing in it. It's clearly like a kind of a high school edition that I managed to find in a little free library, which was very cool. So I wanted to read a different edition, and I really like these folder books. I like the notes and some of the essays before and after. So yeah, so this is what I've been reading. Now, like I said, I'm a little concerned that September could be maybe too Shakespeare heavy. I mean, there's a part of me that wants to read, because I'm like the last person left who has not read Hamnet by Maggie O'Farrell. So there's a part of me that wants to read this, but there's a part of me that's like, maybe my mind needs a break from Shakespeare. Maybe there's something else. And I actually have been thinking I might return to this collection of short stories by Joseph Sheridan LeFanu. I know, the cover is dreadful. I started reading this almost a year ago because one of the prompts for Victober last year was to read a Victorian short story. And then I learned that Joseph Sheridan LeFanu was Irish, and so I tried to specifically find the short stories in this that were set in Ireland, and so I read some of those for the Irish readathon earlier this year. I would like to finish this though. I've been reading it for a year. I have not read, I've still got a bookmark in there. Probably gonna have to start that short story over again. But I've read, let's see, I've read six of the short stories. I think there's 16, I want to say. This is an old Dover edition that I picked up from my parents' house. My mom told me to take it. And I think Best Ghost Stories is really misleading. But definitely like creepy stories. I mean, is it Carmilla? I'm pretty sure the famous vampire story is in here. Yeah, Carmilla. Carmilla is in here, so that's not a ghost story, it's a vampire story, right? Anyway, I've enjoyed the stories that I've read. Ironically, the story that I've enjoyed the least was the one I read for Victober last year. So, but the ones that I read that were in Ireland were just really fascinating. So I thought about picking this up. I mean, I have so much. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. We'll play it by ear. But you can follow me or friend me on Goodreads and tell me what you think, what in addition to Shakespeare I should read. Now I will say, you know, to make a video about Romeo, even something like Romeo and Juliet, which I don't know, I think because I read it in high school, I think it should be easy. The thing that I really like about reading the plays, is that there's so many different editions, so it can be a different experience every time you pick it up. But when you're watching it in a film adaptation, or if you're lucky enough on a stage, things just keep going, and you don't have a lot of time to really sit and ponder stuff. Whereas what I'm finding so far in reading Romeo and Juliet is that I can read a line or a scene, and I can stop and think about it and sort of sit in it a little bit, if you will. But again, I do really want to keep making Friday Reads videos in September, and I don't want them to be nothing but Shakespeare. But I can't guarantee that. So anyway, I love hearing from my viewers in the comment section. If you are new, especially I would love for you to say hello. Tell me what you're reading this weekend. If you have special plans for the upcoming weekend, which in the United States is Labor Day, the Labor Day weekend holiday. Or if you don't feel comfortable leaving a comment, you can leave an emoji. You can give this video a thumbs up as a way of just saying hi if you don't feel comfortable. So I do everything I can to make the comment section a really safe space. Booktube, thank you so much for watching. I look forward to hearing from you in the comment section down below. And as always, remember to be kind to yourself, be kind to others, and I'll be back soon with another video. Bye.